Hey guys, welcome to my podcast, the Kelshi podcast that is going out every Sunday, where we talk about entrepreneurship, business, relationships, life, and literally everything that you need to know in order to be a perfect entrepreneur. Today, I have a remarkable guest, Marina Khawand. She is a Forbes 30 under 30 listers and the founder of three businesses, the founder of Med Donations, Healing Makers, and Social Pulse. Thank you so much for coming, Marina.
Thank you, Paolo, for having me. It's a great pleasure.
Okay, thank you. I'm just very excited. We've met Marina last year, actually, right, at the Forbes 30 under 30 Summit, and she really touched me with her business, and I'm just really happy to know you, actually.
Same here.
So I'm going to start with Med Donations. That's the first business you started, right?
Right.
And it's a non-profit, correct?
Right.
Awesome. So can you tell me about what inspired you to start Med Donations?
Sure. So basically, it's the first non-profit I created, but before my donations, I had M&H events.
Okay.
It was at the age of 16. I had an event planning company. Then I closed M&H during, actually COVID and everything. And after the explosion, I decided to stop event planning in Lebanon and to create Med Donations. And eventually I started Med Donations from Quarantina's area. Okay. I was here, and the first ever case I saw was here. It was for an old lady, and she was in dire need for her medication. By coincidence, I met her, and I actually was driven by efforts to step into her doorsteps. Everything was on ground. Everything was ashes. No buildings, nothing at all. It was, Quarantina was the nearest area from Beirut's explosion. So it was moments that I will never, ever, ever forget. And this lady's case and story was linked to my personal life story, where my mom suffers from asthma, and this lady needed an asthma medication, and she couldn't take a breath because she was in dire need of her inhaler. So what I did eventually, I went to the pharmacies and was trying to find out the medication, and I couldn't find the medication. This was the second shock that drove me to Med Donations. So what I did is I posted a story on Instagram, and I asked for help. If anyone can support me with this medication is exactly, and I mentioned one economist did this business on Instagram, and she reposted, and after 2 hours, she called me, Marina, I secured a full stock of this medication.
Wow.
It was, the happiest call I've ever received. It was shocking and happy at the same moment. And it was the call that made me feel this responsibility. And eventually, I'm not playing anymore. I'm not doing something just to help and social service things. I'm actually now going to take medications in my hands and then give them to a patient that is in dire need of this medication and save a life. So when I took the medications from Danielle and I was on my way back to this lady's home, which is in Quarantina, I started feeling the urge of things when we talk about medications and medical field, and that we don't have the leverage of time, and we're really fighting the milliseconds. The heartbeat cannot wait. The breath cannot wait. So it was really a moment of urgency. I reached the lady's home, and it was the moment where actually it shaped everything. I took the first box of medication. She started tearing up, and she cried because she saw her right. And that moment, I knew that human beings in Lebanon are fighting for their basic rights, which are fundamental rights, and no one should even ask for it. They should have it. So she took the medication. I stayed at her home for 1 hour and a half. And before I leave, she hugged me. And, Paolo, it was the most beautiful hug I've ever received in my entire life. I felt her heartbeat. And up until now, every time I repeat the story, I can recall the scenes in my head. I can feel the emotions. I can feel the sentiments. And she tells me one thing: thank you for saving my life.
Wow.
From this phrase, my donation started.
Wow. You actually saved a person's life, and you're continuing to do so every day.
And she saved my life at the same time.
How?
By giving me this opportunity to save thousands of lives. Because at that moment, I knew the purpose of my existence.
Nice.
And it's very hard to find the purpose. When we talk
Very
business, entrepreneurship, and so on, you need to find joy in things and happiness and the true meaning of life and to leave an impact. So because of her, I was able to create my donations, which is a never everlasting impact in so many lives of people in Lebanon, outside Lebanon, and everywhere.
At what point did you tell yourself, I'm going to make this an official nonprofit?
Okay. There's something which people do know about me. I am not a fan of nonprofits.
Okay.
So I don't like the word NGO.
Okay.
Okay. Due to several reasons. So I was delaying the thing of registering my donations as a legal entity
Okay.
and just naming it as initiative or
Okay.
as a community or as a movement
Okay.
up until I started getting medications from outside Lebanon. Just for the legal aspect of med donations and legal procedure and logistics, I was urged to register med donations as a nonprofit.
Okay.
Now it's locally in Lebanon, and in 2023 we registered in France. So now we have the first HQ in Europe, and now working in Switzerland and US. Because I was at a moment where we didn't have medications in Lebanon, and I needed to get medications from outside Lebanon. So to make everything legal for the airports, shippings, and so on, I need a legal paper.
Yeah,
So that's why I
sure.
registered my donation.
Honestly, it's a very, very inspiring story. And you talked about purpose. And that woman helped you find your purpose. That's what you're saying.
Right.
How can other people find their purpose?
You know, I often get asked the same question, and the only advice I can give to individuals or to young entrepreneurs or even just students is try to find the purpose in the smallest things you can ever do, and with actions that are driven from your inner self, not as someone trying to apply something over you. I will not tell you do the same as I did, but actually I will tell you feel the things around you and act by the feeling and by the emotions and by the sentiments that will drive you to do this thing. And when you do this, you will find purpose in this exact thing that you're doing. Otherwise, it's going to be a long journey and it's not easy. And when you feel it, and when you reach a stage where you know that there's something inside you that changed and something sparked inside you, and your vision changed, and you know now you can see things differently, you can feel things differently, then know that you found your purpose in life. And your purpose should always link to have an impact. So it's not like just, okay, I'm finding purpose in something that will not leave a mark or will not leave an impact. For me, a purpose is directly linked to leaving an impact and leaving a mark. It could be an impact with one individual, with an industry, with a sector, and so on, but make sure that it is linked to leaving an impact.
I can definitely confirm this, one of the main reasons I sold my business, and not something that I tell a lot, is because I didn't feel what I was doing had a purpose. And, right now, podcasting, I'm just doing for fun. Money is the least thing I think about, But, I was also a bit lucky to be able to be in that state. And I think Lebanon gives that state somehow. لأنه when you don't have opportunities and the typical path closes to you, you have the chance to make your own path.
Right.
And just like you had your event company, and then you said, events, it's not the time for events. It was the time to help. And then with that, that's exactly the entrepreneurial mindset. And
exactly.
You're really the embodiment of it. So Anjad, bravo. So you were telling me about when you thought of officializing
yes.
med donations as well. You also built a fashion brand called Healing Makers, right?
Right.
I have some background in fashion, so I'm very excited to hear this. Healing Makers basically has a mission where every time you buy a shirt, you are helping.
You're saving a life.
You're saving a life. How are we saving a life?
Okay, so basically, med donations is formed on a base that we do not call for monetary donations.
Okay.
And eventually, to make things sustainable, you need money.
Okay.
I'm against, doing campaigns or doing gala dinners or so on. So I thought of, why don't we come up with a product in which we can sell, and then from this product, we can generate income for the nonprofit, and we can buy medications, we can cover surgeries, we can cover the infrastructure, and so on. But the individual is getting something in return. I always love to give something in return, even if someone is donating, you know? So that's how I created the Healing Makers brand. We have a small team of 3 individuals, people working on design, and eventually the factory is made in Lebanon, so the fabric is all made in Lebanon. By that way, we're also supporting the local industry and the local production. At the same time, we're doing designs that are that reflect Mad Donation's mission in a way. All designs are inspired by quotes that we live by themes that we love, by illustrations that have a meaning, not just by any illustration. And the cuts are, you know, very casual, classy cuts. They're t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, and now we're working on the blazer cuts and so on. So it's going to be formal, informal at the same time. It's available in Lebanon and in Cyprus. We have one store that is featuring our products in Cyprus, and we ship all over the other countries. So basically, when you buy, we cover the cost of production, and then all the proceeds goes to Mad Donations. And the proceeds will be divided into Mad Donations, medications, patients, surgeries, treatments, and so on, upon what we see the need is urged.
Wow. You're doing fashion with a purpose. I never asked you this. You started events and then Mad Donations, medical field, let's say. I'm sure you know all the medicine now.
By heart.
Everything. Okay. And then branched with a fashion brand, and as well as something we haven't spoke about is Social Pulse, a marketing agency.
Right. Social Pulse started when I was 17. So eventually it was event planning, Social Pulse as a hobby, not as Social Pulse, Mad Donations, and the Healing Makers. So that's the order.
Okay.
For Social Pulse, I always felt that I need to, you know, express myself in a way. I used to do some music, to play piano, guitar, and so on, and then I stopped. And then afterwards, I felt that, okay, I like video editing, video production, and so on. I like this field. So what I did is I was helping a friend. She had a startup nonprofit, if I would say. We were interviewing celebrities, some known people about people that they lost. So it was mainly a nonprofit discussing grieving at this stage. So I was shooting a singer in Lebanon. She's a known singer in Lebanon. And after we finished the interview, I did the editing style and everything. It was so emotional because I placed my emotions. My mother. So eventually I did the interview. And then afterwards she calls me and Marina, and she said, Marina, I need you to be part of my video clip.
Okay.
No, I was, what? Video clip? I know nothing about professional video shooting or editing. All I have to do is what I think or what I see is the thing I execute. I said, okay. And I went, and it was eventually my first day on set ever.
What was your role?
Video editor.
Okay.
So I was on set with the director and videographers and so on, and actors. It felt so good. You know, I loved it. Then afterwards, I took the footages and I was editing on, you know, any software application on HP. It was available for free. I didn't know that there is Adobe Premiere. And I was really finding hard times by lip syncing. So I called a friend and she told me, Marina, you need to learn how to use eventually Adobe Premiere. And I was like, okay, how can I do so? She told me, I can help you. I told her, I have a very tight deadline. So I learned all the basics in 1.5 hours because of her. And I went back. Without exaggerating, it took me more than 48 hours, like non-stop editing, sleeping for 2-3 hours to finish the video. It was an extreme challenge for me. It was out. The video clip was out, and I saw my name, you know, at the end, video edited by Marina Khawand. I felt like, okay, this is the moment where I felt that I did something out of a hobby, out of something that I love. Then afterward, I continued my hobby with Mad
Probably
Donations.
the only person who saw that at the end.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So basically, I continued with Mad Donations. I created the videos, and people started calling me whenever they see me. Marina, who's doing this video? I said, I'm doing it. I'm taking the footage with my phone and editing over an application, and that's it. And one by one, the donors were the first clients at Social Pulse.
Okay.
So some of Mad Donations donors are our clients now, and still. So this is how Social Pulse started. I started getting clients and projects, videos, graphic design, logo, branding, marketing. I did a team, and all the team is also Lebanese students, freelancers on board. And now the team is more bigger. It's in 4 countries.
Nice.
We have more than 50 clients aboard, full-time or half-time. We do everything in all sectors, from medical to economy, to journalism, to bloggers, to influencers, to even businesses and companies. So that's Social Pulse eventually.
You do everything. But I never asked, like, what's your major? What did you study?
Are you sure you want to get the answer?
I think it's very important to know because you've tapped into many industries, and if it's shocking, it's going to be very helpful to many people.
I'm a lawyer by background.
Okay. Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I finished and I graduated from law school in 2023. So I was doing everything from medications to social media to fashion during my law degree. And now I'm doing pharmacy. So I graduated from law school and now I'm on my 2nd year at pharmacy.
Why?
Because I love the medical field.
Okay.
I have a very strong passion to the
Actually,
medical field. And if I have the time, I would have entered med school. But unfortunately,
so I'm speaking to Maître Marina Khawand, actually.
Trainee lawyer.
Okay.
خلينا متواضعين. Trainee lawyer.
Okay. Wow. What's the biggest risk you took in making all the businesses you've built today?
Finding the time. Time management is still my biggest risk while onboarding new clients, onboarding new patients, onboarding new projects, because I'm working on a new startup now. Okay. So having the time and without losing the energy and without losing the focus, because eventually running 4 businesses at the same time or 3 businesses and still studying, it's really challenging, especially in Lebanon, and a country where we're living at risk and we're living at يعني دايما عندنا crises happening. So Med Donations takes the biggest role. At the same time, Med Donations is not financing my life. I don't get paid from Med Donations, so I need to keep Social Pulse very active. And it's my company. It's my source of revenue. At the same time, I'm having some trainings at a law firm, so it's my career, my pharmacy degree, so everything at once. But I still need to have and to give each and every aspect the energy, motivation, commitment, and dedication needed for it to grow and to sustain. Because it's not like just titles. Okay, we did a brand and this brand closed at the 2nd day. No.
I noticed something is from the businesses that you're doing, you're talking about emotions and embracing the emotion in everything. While I think many first-time founders, they believe that it's about the product, it's about what they're building, and then once they do it, everything will just magically work after that. And when they get so obsessed about the product, they forget to see the purpose, the vision, and the impact. And in today's day and age, when everything can get replaced and done by AI, you really need to have a purpose. So here we have Marina, the perfect example of the person who was a lawyer, technically by studying, and then through purpose and through need, and especially entrepreneurial mindset, she was able to make these 3 businesses successful, and one of them reaching Forbes. And I actually didn't even tell you 1% of her awards, which is the Diana Awards from in the UK, and the HIMSS 24 Change Maker and Health Award, and she's got so many others. So we're not done. I just wanted to pause here because the purpose of these podcast interviews is to share the knowledge that you have to other people, and especially young entrepreneurs in Lebanon and the Middle East and globally. Have you ever felt like quitting?
I'll be very honest with you, Paolo. Yes, definitely. And more than one time. Because every time that eventually I was doing one project and I felt like everything that I'm seeing now is obstacles and ما فيك تعملي وما رح تنجحي وشوف الobstacle قدامي. It was for me like okay خلص it's over for me and too many problems on the way because it's a very big responsibility, and this is I'm tackling my donations basically because it's the biggest in form of impact, in form of people, in form of logistics and laws and legalities and regulations. So we cannot miss any point, and if we miss any point then we're in a big trouble, you know, or the individual's life cannot wait and so on. And even with the shipments from outside Lebanon, we're tackling more than 65 countries. We get medications from them covering all continents. So living at risk always and living in the sense of urgency always. And, you know, sometimes you feel like I need to rest, you know, I need to pause things, but eventually I cannot pause them because pausing means the lives of the people will be at risk at some point. And posing them in a country as in Lebanon is so critical that people do rely on you and see in you the hope that they cannot find anywhere else because they cannot find the medications anywhere else. So I felt it, but I've never done it. I've always had this one incident that sparked in me this motivation again. And if eventually I want to be very honest, it was a patient, a baby, an elderly that we've helped. And a message over WhatsApp, a call maybe, that thank you, just made me recharge and restart.
And it came at the right moment,
at the right moment. And it was like God sending me this sign. Marina, you need to continue. Marina, you need to restart again, recharge. You don't have time to lose. And you cannot quit now. So this is the thing that happened with me in my donations and in the 3 others. But my donations was the most, عندها تقلة. Because it takes out of my day like 17, 18 hours, if I would say, logically speaking. It takes way more much time and thinking and energy from the others. So, and it's normal.
Do you think my donations could have a role in a country that has a government that provides nearly everything?
That's the question I asked myself when the new government formation what happened eventually. And I was really happy and I was hopeful that I wish one day we can close med donations in its current functionalities as giving medications and replace it by something else, which is integrating AI and technology in our medical scope and medical assistance, which I aim and we're going to launch it very soon. It's the free health tech clinic. It's a clinic powered by AI tools and softwares and devices. They're all the latest, all FDA or CE approved. And the patient will come in, will have these devices, just place them as stethoscope. He can place it, and the doctor will be on teleconsultation. And we'll see all the vital signs on the screen. So I'm trying to leverage the medical assistance into something else, something we don't have it often in Lebanon. It's available in Dubai and in Abu Dhabi and in Saudi Arabia and so many countries. By giving the opportunity for these patients to get accurate and to get another level of high professional medical assistance from professionals inside Lebanon and outside Lebanon, and still give the medications to the people who are in dire need. Because in any country around the globe, even the most advanced, we still have, a kind of طبقة, so a sense of a group of people that cannot afford their basics. So we're still here for these individuals. Of course, if the government and if the ministry was on a way of in which we can meet plans together, we're going to collaborate on a bigger front. So we're open to anything. But my donations will be shifting a bit the focus from medication to medication to medical assistance and to global medical assistance. To close the gap on different levels and to still be able to function on different fronts.
Definitely. And look, I think it's a global problem at the end of the day.
And it's an unending one.
Like even in the UAE, in the US, people have, especially with like very expensive medications. And I think it's necessary everywhere. So what are your plans to scale globally?
Eventually we're scaling. But my vision and my mission maybe from now till 5 years is to have med donations not as a collection point in these countries, but
Okay.
as an operating firm.
Okay.
In what sense? Let's say we have a crisis in Africa, okay, in one of the countries there, and I actually got a call from Nigeria. There's like a small state, Katsina state, and they need some help with how to build the system like med donations. So I'm helping them now how to build this system, how to get donations, and how to actually help with patients. So I wanna my vision and what I love to do is to create med donations in other countries, to have teams of doctors and healthcare professionals be present in these countries and also be available when any crisis happen. Let's say an earthquake happened, as the one happened.
You're ready.
We're ready, and this team can travel and can give the medical assistance directly needed. So that's a further, a mission that I'm willing to do, and I'm just now in the ideation phase and how to scale it properly to not miss any step, because it's health.
Yeah.
So it's very critical, and you need to abide by the regulations of every single country. And you have a lot of, I wouldn't say competitors, but I would say in the field, NGOs or companies that wouldn't let you work in, especially that we're giving for free all medications and medical assistance. So we need to handle this stuff before going further than that.
Amazing. Finally, هيدي لمشاهدينا اليوم. أنا بودكاستر مش it's not a TV show. I'm بمزح بس إنه إذا بدك تعطي نصيحة واحدة لكل شخص لبناني بده هو يفتح مشروع لحاله، شو النصيحة اللي بدك تعطيه إياها؟
الشيء اللي طبقته على حالي رح أعطيه، وهذا الشيء بفضل أهلي، بفضل الفاليوز اللي تربيت عليها، أنا ما أستسلم. ما تستسلموا، لأنه أول شيء نحن ببلد كتير مر علينا وكتير مر علينا أزمات. وأنا بحكي هون مع الجيل شوي الأصغر اللي هو من جيل العشرينات الثلاثينات، اللي يمكن majority فل برات لبنان ليأسس ليكفي دراسته ليأسس حياته ب a secure stable country، which مش معقول يوعى تاني نهار يلاقي عنده انفجار، أو يوعى يلاقي تاني نهار مصرياته ضاعوا بالبنوك أو جانا عمره. عم بحكي مع هذا الجيل اللي عاش كل شيء ومر علينا كتير صعوبات. we're known to be resilient people. خلينا نستعمل هالريزيلينس لشيء بوزيتيف إلنا، ونستخدم هالريزيلينس لنعطي حالنا قد ما فينا معاش إنه ما نستسلم، لأنه الكرايسس بتخلق فينا عزيمة، بتخلق فينا opportunities. so خلينا نشوف الopportunity بالكرايسس ما نهرب منها. that's one. two, do not give up on opportunities that you feel like إن عندكم possibility فيها بس فيها كتير load. you can do it. And there's nothing impossible, and I mean it, there's nothing impossible. When you believe in something, and when you believe that none of the obstacles can stop you, even regulations, even complexities by أنا عم بقولكم أكثر من complexity نقدر نجيب أدوية من ساوث كوريا عملناها، نجيب أدوية من جابان ومن الصين عملناها، نجيب دكتورز من هونيك وناخد آرائهم عملناها. so كل شيء بتلاقوه إنه هو مستحيل ينعمل رح ينعمل طول ما عندكم the proper intentions, the proper vision, the proper mission, أكيد surrounded by proper team to place your trust in the right people along the way, to trust your vision and gut feeling. أكيد your vision is the utmost best. So do it now before tomorrow. Start now before tomorrow. Don't doubt yourself. don't doubt قد إيه قادرين تعملوا. So for me it's هذا الشيء بحب أنا فيه دايماً. بعد سمعتها بفوربس بآخر السبيتش كنت عم بقوله we are all lifesavers, change makers and hope creators. so هذا الشيء طبقوه على البزنس تبعكم وعلى التيم تبعكم. كل شخص شوفوا فيه إنه هو life saver in a way, change maker in a way, و hope creator in a way. خلوا البزنس تبعكم تكون نفس الشيء. and that way you'll find your purpose, your scale, and you'll see yourself on something else and on different scale and level. So that's it for me.
Wow. Thank you so much. That was Marina Khawand, the founder of Med Donations, Healing Makers, and Social Pulse. Please go follow Med Donations LB, Healing Makers.
Med Donations without LB.
Okay.
Healing Makers LB and Social Pulse LB.
So please follow all these. Go buy a hoodie from Healing Makers. And check the new collection that is coming soon. I'm getting a free one. حعملكم demo العمل.
Definitely.
Okay. Follow the Kelshi podcast to not miss any episode every Sunday on YouTube and Rami, Spotify. And if they want to give any medications, they can do so at Med Donations. Thank you so much.